Hello, this is the second video to go along with section 1.3 on intercepts and graphs. And we're going to be seeing how to use technology to do the graphing or creating a table so that you can do some of your interpretations. So I'm starting out with the graphing calculator, but I'm actually going to show you both the graphing calculator and Desmos, which is just a free software that you can get online. So if you have a graphing calculator, I'm familiar with TI 83 or 84. You can have any graphing calculator that you have available, but you need to know how to use it. Okay, so I'm familiar with the Texas Instruments products. So the first place that you're going to go is y equals. Okay, and I'm just going to clear out what I had there if I had used this previously. Okay, so we have a clear y equals. This is the first place you need to go anytime you're being given a formula to graph or evaluate, okay, whatever you're being asked to do with the formula. So the first formula that we're going to take a look at is 9.4. The variable key is this button that says xt theta n, okay? That's your variable button. You're going to press that. Notice that your calculator understands x and y, okay? So you have to, again, kind of go back to that x and y, even though in your problem, you might not be using x and y, okay? So you have to make sure you keep that clear. And then we're going to do minus 0.6, okay? Just for future troubleshooting, I want to show you that there are two buttons. This is your subtraction button. This is your negative button. If you mean to use one and use the other, you might wind up with an error, okay? So that's just quick troubleshooting, all right? Something you can go back and see if you wind up getting an error somewhere, okay? So this is the function we're going to want to explore. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to generate a table of values. So I want my calculator to give me a bunch of different inputs, a bunch of different points that I could either interpret or that I can graph, okay, later. So the first place I'm going to go is second window, okay, because that's my table set, if you see the blue writing, right, my table set feature. I can start my table wherever I think is appropriate. Okay, 0 is usually good. And this triangle means change in table. So in other words, what do I want to count by? So maybe I want to count by ones, all right? I'm going to leave both of these on auto because that's telling my calculator, nope, I want you to do all the work automatically. And then once I have this all set, I'm going to go to second graph, which says table above it. And you can see that it automatically generated from 0 to 10, counting by ones, and then gave me my corresponding outputs. Okay, and I didn't have to do much work at all. The calculator is doing all of these plugging in. I can scroll up if I want to see values that I didn't originally have in my table set. Okay, I can scroll the other way if I want to go higher. Okay. But now here's the problem. What if I'm looking for significantly higher inputs? What if I want to know what happens at 50 or 100? I'm not going to want to use my arrows and keep scanning for the value that I want. So there's got to be a way for me to tailor my table. And there is. We're going to go back into second window. And instead of putting the independent on auto, we're going to put the independent on ask. And the way that you change that is simply use the arrow keys and then hit enter on ask, okay? So this way the ask is what's being bold, all right, being highlighted. Once this is on ask, you go back to second graph. Notice how it comes out empty, okay? This is where you can type in whatever you're interested in. I always want to know what happens at 0 for my y-intercepts, so I'm going to type that in. But if I did want to know what happens at 100, I can just type in 100. Any point that I'm curious about, okay, I can type in. And I don't have to go in any particular order. okay, which might also be nice if you're looking for a variety of different values. So this is how you generate a table on your calculator. All right, now I'm going to show you something called Desmos. And I hope this comes out clear because I have had issues making other videos with this. So let's see. So all I'm doing here is I'm going to www.desmos.com. This is a free graphing calculator. So I'm going to press graphing calculator, okay? And it's going to show me a blank graph, okay? Because it will automatically graph whatever you type in. And it leaves me a space to type in whatever equation I'm looking at. So I want to type in y equals, and let's do the same one, 9.4x minus 0.6. Okay? Notice that it's automatically graphing, which is awesome. Okay? I'll show you how to do the graph on the calculator in a little bit. But that's not what I wanted to use Desmos for. I wanted Desmos to give me a table. So I'm going to go to, I can hit enter, by the way. I'm going to go to my little, what was that, a gear, okay? And notice how it gives me an option of a table. So I'm going to hit that table. And look at what it does. It gives me the table for that function that I typed in. And then I have the ability to manipulate this to look at whatever inputs I want. So maybe I did want to look at 50, and I did want to look at 100, okay? And I did want to look at negative 20, all right? Whatever the case might be. And so I can jump around and just type it in here, okay? Now, since I'm already in Desmos, it'll show you the graphing features. Because this is interactive, you can use your mouse, or if you do have a touchscreen, you can pinch and drag, right? And you can find the window that would be the most helpful just by kind of moving it around, okay? You can zoom in and zoom out. But if you wanted to look and change the scale, because notice how my scale is not really changing unless I zoom, 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 okay? Then my scale starts to change. If I want to change my scale, I'm going to go up to this wrench up in the top corner. And that wrench opens up a menu, and it says x-axis, y-axis, okay? I can change how my x-axis looks. Maybe I don't want to go from -5 to 5, okay? Maybe I just want to see what happens from -2 to 2. And then it asks for a step. It says step here. So I can type in what I want to count by. Maybe I want to count by 0.1s. Okay? And then if I go back to the graph, which you just have to click out of that menu, now I've changed my x-axis to be exactly what I wanted, from -2 to 2, incrementing by 0.5s. Okay? So you have both options. You can either pinch and pull the graph, okay, drag the graph, or you can actually set an appropriate window with your x-axis and your y-axis. So this is a little bit more interactive than the graphing calculator. So if you want to just use this software, okay, there's other softwares as well. There's something called geogebra.org, which also will do graphing and things for you. So it's whatever you feel comfortable with, okay? But I'm going to show you these two in these videos. So this is how you're going to graph something in Desmos. Okay, just want to make sure that I'm showing you everything you need before we do that. All right, if I wanted to find a particular point on this line, okay, it gives me the y-intercepts. Okay, notice how that important point was already dark. Okay, it already gives me the y-intercept. If I click, or I'm sorry, if I put my finger, how come it's not doing it? Okay, well, it gave me what happens at 1. Maybe the increments are too small. Okay, maybe it only does it for increments of 1. But notice how it gave me another ordered pair. Okay, oh, because it's plotting the table. Okay, I see what's happening. So every point that's on that table is showing up, okay, on the graph. And I can see what that point is. All I have to do is touch it, and it'll come up. Okay? So the points that you are going to be interested in are going to already be highlighted in Desmos, which is great. The only thing is going to be your interpretation. All right? You're in charge of your own interpretation. Okay? So now let's go back to the graphing calculator and look at how the graph is done here. So I'm going to go back into y equals. We're just going to look at the same function again. This time I'm going to hit regular window, not second, just window. And this is going to ask me pretty much the same thing I showed you in Desmos. What's the lowest x value I want? What's the highest x value I want? What do I want to count by? That's what this SCL stands for, x scale. What's the lowest y I want? What's the highest y I want in my window? And then what do I want to count by? Because these numbers are very low, okay, maybe I just want to go from -2 to 2, like I did on Desmos, and change by 0.5s. And then maybe I want to go from -10 to 10, okay, and I'll change by 1s. This part is up to you, okay, as long as you have a window that you feel will show everything you need to show. So we're going to just hit graph this time, not second, just graph. And this is going to show me the graph in that window. Now, if I hit trace, okay, I can type in any input I might be interested in, okay? You can also use the arrows to go up, but sometimes it increments weird. I mean, you can see these are weird numbers, right? So it's not very good for just browsing like that. But if you hit trace and then you type in something you're interested in, I want to know what happens at 0.5. It will go show me that point, and then there's my output at 0.5. Here's the downside of the graphing calculator. Let's say I hit trace and I type in 2, okay, or not 2, 3, and I hit enter. It tells me it's invalid, right? Why is it telling me it's invalid? I set my window from -2 to 2. This is outside my window, so my calculator doesn't understand because I cut that out. You can only look for inputs that are inside your window. So you have two choices. Look for inputs that are within the window, or go back into your window and alter it, okay? Change your X-min, X-max, whatever you need, okay, to see what you want to see. All right, but your calculator can do that, and they can find individual values. Okay, so I hope this was just a little crash course with the technology. The technology is going to be helpful when you're doing things quickly, okay, and you just need to interpret an answer, but finding the answer, you can just have the technology do for you. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, and I will see you in the next video.